everybody. This is Kim C, and you're listening to the Year of Underrated Stephen King. This is a one-woman Stephen King book podcast established in April 2020. Since that time, I have endeavored to take the Stephen King path less traveled and bring all of you along with me to unearth, uncover, and rediscover the incredible storytelling that doesn't get as much attention as it should. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my anniversary/reflection episode. I try and do this every April. It is an unscripted little look back on the year prior, so if that's not really your vibe, it's okay to skip. I get it. You're busy. You got stuff to do. But I do have some really awesome information found within, so I do encourage you to stay with me. But it's okay to skip this one if you ain't feeling it. Totally fine. If you've been hanging out with the Year of Underrated Stephen King for a little while, you've seen some of these pop up along the path. 1 year in, 2 year in, 3 years in, and now 4. This is the anniversary of the podcast. Many moons ago in April 2020. Oh my God, I was in the thick of it, folks. We all were. I was at home reading Under the Dome, a very poor choice in retrospect, but I was in it, feeling all the existential dread, and I just decided to go for it with a podcast all by myself in my living room with my cats running around. It was ridiculous. I'm really glad I did it though, because wow, this road has been truly humbling, really magical, very rewarding, and oh so rich. Oh my gosh. The friends I have made, the people I have spoken to, it's just, wow. If I think about it a little too long, I definitely can get misty-eyed. So I'm just so grateful for all the new listeners who have discovered us, new friends that I will continue to make, and the King novels and short stories and novellas that I haven't yet discovered. The road goes ever on. And I think I always use this episode to sort of pop the hood, check the engine, wiggle a couple bolts around, and kind of ask myself, Kim, do you want to keep going? Do you want to keep going with the podcast? And today, the answer is yes, my dears. The answer is yes. And it's a very big yes, because I've actually just done something quite big very recently. If you jump back to last year's reflection episode, our 3rd anniversary, 3 years in, I talk about how we might lean towards a Patreon, and yeah, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year later, we have arrived. I was really hemming and hawing. I am a gal who really takes some time mulling over big decisions. I had a big pros and cons list, but so many cool people out there encouraged it. Shout out to my Stephen King bestie, Matt Hurt from Tower Junkies, Anthology, and Obsessive Viewer podcast, the hardest working man in showbiz. Let me tell you, folks, he was a big proponent of going through with it. Many friends and family members encouraged that perhaps something new and jazzy and sexy and cool would bring out something different in the podcast repertoire, and they were so right. If you all head over to patreon.com/dancewithkimc, and that is dance with an S, my loves, DANSEWITHKIMC, that is the brand new, recently birthed, recently arrived Patreon called the Danse Macabre with Kim C. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of plans, but what's exciting about the Patreon is everything on there is exclusive. There's not going to be any cross-contamination on this show, folks. If it's on the Patreon, it will not be featured on the Year of Underrated Stephen King. So if you like what we do here, it's just going to be extra for the low, affordable Starbucks latte price of $5.55 a month. $5.55 per month. That's it. And at present, it's bopping over there, everybody. I had an absolute blast getting that prepared this month. We have a brand new segment entitled SK Femme Fridays, where each Friday I have a literal baseball hat filled with little scraps of paper upon which are written every Stephen King female I have read about. The ones I haven't yet read are absent, but we've got about 40 plus names in that baseball hat, y'all. And I pick out one, maybe two, we might be doing doubles down the road, and I ask them some questions. It was hilarious. I had way too much fun. Can't wait to do more. We have an amazing constant reader interview on there, so exclusive VIP guests will be on there, as well as a heavy emphasis on the short stories. I believe the current plan, never been done before in the history of this show, I am actually going to do a brand new Stephen King book release. You Like It Darker is coming out next month, and it is a short story collection, and y'all know how much Stephen King short fiction gives me life, gives me wings, blows my dress up, all the things. So I have decided, yes, I'm going to take a very hot off the presses, brand new King release, and we're going to go through each story one by one. Brand new? Brand new. That will be on the Patreon as well. It's going to be bopping. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to get a lot more Kim C with her hair down, a lot more laid back, loose goose. The things that have flown out of my mouth have even made my eyebrows raise. So it's going to have a lot more energy and fun. And they might be a little shorter and sweeter, so you can complete it on that quick dog walk around the block. So it might be a series of really fun little morsels that hopefully add a little pep and zest to your day. And yet, here on the Year of Underrated Stephen King, we're still going to keep up the flow. I still am a little behind on schedule with my Duma Finders revisit, as well as my coverage on Finders Keepers. It's in the queue, my dears, I promise. My guys, it's there. It's ready to go. We're going to get there. It's happening. And then, of course, the return to the tower with Wolves of the Calla, that is also happening. So we're going to keep up this road, my guys. We are going to keep on keeping on. But if you would like some greater frequency out of Kim C, because I do know there is a little bit of a lag time in between episodes, but people wait for good food at restaurants, do they not? Yes, they do. I am late, but worth the wait, I promise. But if you're looking for greater frequency in some of your podcast content, head over to the Patreon, because the short and sweet morsels will be coming out with greater frequency. So head over there and get your fix, as there's some really fun stuff going on. Also, because it's so brand spanking new, I am so open for ideas, recommendations, and feedback. So if you are a new member of the Patreon, you've listened to a couple of the episodes, you have some things you'd like to add, a segment you're curious about me plugging in, I am so open. It's a really amazing way to get closer and influence your podcast content if you so desire. So that is something available to you as well if you've been a fan for a while. There are chat forums, direct messages, all the good stuff. So it's going to be a really rad community that I would like to see flourish to the best of my ability. But at present, the Patreon will continue, as well as our flagship, the Year of Underrated Stephen King. I do have, oh gosh, guys. I am recording with someone today, and I'm trying not to pee my pants. That's all I'll say about that. I am trying not to pee my pants because this guy, if Stephen King's the king, well then this is the prince. Hands down. So I am beyond thrilled to speak with this person, trying to keep it cool and not be a bozo and not ruin it with my nerves, because sometimes I talk a little fast and I say dumb things. I patch it together and I make it work, but it's not my finest hour because I'm fangirling or overthinking or just really nervous. So it's fine. He's just a dude, but he's a really cool, brilliant horror writer dude. So we're not gonna think we're not going to think too much about it. We're just going to be cool. But I think I'll most likely put that one on the year of underrated Stephen King because it's just going to blow doors in. I think it'll be incredible. So that's the plan, Stan. Our flagship will continue to sail, and the Patreon, my newborn baby, has just emerged and she's ready to party. Oh my goodness. Guys, the energy over there. I don't know what happened or how it happened, but when I sat down and said, you're going to have fun with this, we are here for fun, I think it's coming through. It is, wow. It is way not serious. Not to say it is full of frivolity and tomfoolery. There is some of that. We do still have some organization and concrete evidence skewing about, but it's banana balls in a really good way. In a way that I feel I've needed for a while in terms of allowing all of you to see more of the lady in the shadows. I'm pretty private about things. I try and maintain a very educational, scholastic front in as many avenues as I can. And in this zone, in the Patreon zone, I really feel that freedom. And I think you guys can hear it too. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in another facet of Kim C, I think it will deliver on that. So just something to think about. But yes, 3 years ago, I was hinting at a Patreon. Hinting. And now, 1 year later, one full trip around the sun, the Danse Macabre with Kim C is here. And I have to thank my very good friend, Bryant Burnett. He is a tremendous King archivist, fan of the show, supporter of many King podcasts. He is just an angel and someone I deeply admire and respect. Guess who gave me the name for the Patreon? Yeah, it was Bryant. Brian suggested the name a year ago. Exactly. Sent me a message, told me if it was called this, I might be down. And let me tell you, it stuck. It was perfect. I latched onto it. I kept it in my head for a full 365. And it was really awesome to email Bryant today and show him the Patreon art. That was a very proud moment. So all of you fans out there are incredibly influential in my decision-making, just so you know. So if you haven't yet reached out and said hi on any of the socials or at underratedsk@gmail, I really recommend it. I promise I'm a nice girl. I don't bite. I answer promptly because I'm always grading students and answering student emails. So it is a tremendous joy to hear from listeners. And thank you to all of you out there who have written in and composed your thoughts, because I know we're busy people. We also are extremely distracted. Wow. The dopamine addiction of scrolling is very real, folks. We are moving at 1 million miles per hour, so I really appreciate everybody out there who sat down, took some time to compose some thoughts. It really means the world. I keep them all. If you haven't and you've been listening for a while and you'd like to just say hello, tell me where you're writing from, tell me some of the episodes you enjoyed, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of, I'm so open. Feedback's a good thing. Criticism is a good thing. I teach it all day long. So I'm very open to learn your thoughts. And this goes for the Patreon as well. The Patreon is just, wow, it's like a kid's birthday party exploded over there. We can definitely hone it in over the next couple weeks, and I am just looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your feedback, and know that it is something I take to heart. I'm very, very receptive to the brilliant King fans out there, because we are the best. You guys know that, right? The fans of Stephen King are the most generous, loving, incredibly smart, philosophical, psychologically observant, truly brilliant beyond brilliant individuals that make up a community that fills me with such joy. And I think that's the big message for today. Looking back 4 years in, I'm not necessarily looking back as much as I'm looking forward. And I think that's a first for the show, my guys. Before, each year I had always looked back and kind of evaluated, spent some time with gratitude, This year is very different. This year I have pure excitement and joy. There is, of course, a ton of gratitude still, but it is really swallowed by a giant hot air balloon of this is so fun. And so it's really nice. It's really nice to feel that, to know that. And with that energy, I hope to put forth some really excellent content that enhances your day, makes your commute a little less sucky, and or enhances your reading experience. Spending time with King is an investment of your time, energy, concentration, resources, lots of stuff. And I think it's really nice to discuss these works, to break them down, to get alternative perspectives, to get various gendered perspectives, because sometimes that produces some good stuff. I also think it's really encouraging to have people who aren't so rooted in the horror genre. I would say that I'm more rooted in the investigation of literature rather than a particular genre. King's horror has always been so in the background for me. It's always been so much deeper and bigger than that. And I do feel a lot of Stephen King voices out there are apt to head that direction. And that's fine. It makes a lot of sense. But I'm proud that when you are spending time with this podcast, we are really focused on the writing. Yeah, we're going to talk about genre. We are going to talk about horror a little bit, but it's not going to be our main focus. I still want to take people to school. I still want to make sure that you're getting not necessarily an education, but perhaps some discourse and some discussion. That is the ultimate goal. So let's distill all this down a little bit. In 4 years, I am proud, grateful, and very, very excited. And the plan is to continue. I do believe I'm going to maintain the schedule here on the Year of Underrated Stephen King in terms of we're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks in between podcast episodes, but you never know when magic allows greater moments of output, so perhaps we might get 2 in that time. I hate making you guys wait, but at the same time, it's not the worst. We need to be patient just a little bit, but if you refuse to be patient, I encourage you to jump over to the Patreon where I'm going to be producing little snippets each week. So if that's something that sounds really enticing, you now have options, dear ones. I'm excited about that. We've never had options before, and now we do. Different things on the menu to choose from. So I am very happy to provide everybody with that. But yes, the road goes ever on. I don't want to speculate on what I'm going to read after Wolves of the Calla, because you guys know every time I do that, it's like, wow, life just throws me on spin cycle, and I'm not going to make any plans. I do have a few plans that we've already kind of established in the previous weeks. Finders Keepers, Duma Return, Wolves of the Calla, so that's the next couple months. However, in June, if you guys are Kingslingers fans, you know there is an epic Kingslingers fan event in Bangor, Maine. Yours truly is headed that way. I have always wanted to visit Maine in the summer and go on the Stephen King tour. And in previous years, I just realized, well, I'm going to go out there, me and my boyfriend, I'm going to drag him along to all the things, and I'm just going to experience it, the two of us, all by ourselves. I'm going to take some pictures, buy some postcards, and that was what I planned on until this amazing opportunity with Kingslingers had this incredible event planned. There's going to be Stephen King trivia. There is going to be a panel. It is absolutely epic. So if you are headed that way, I will see you there. I will have some stickers. I might have some extra special merch for the ladies. But if you have pierced ears, just let me know. I'm going to hook you up. But I will see you in Bangor mid-June. I'm going to be there and I'm going to podcast about it, of course. I think I'm going to have some segments called The Road to Maine, because I got to tell you about what it's like. I have to share all of that with you guys. I have to let you feel it, because I'm going to be bursting, walking around Derry/Bangor. It is Mecca. It's been a dream of mine since I fell in love with King. Probably, it was solidified love in 2014, because 2013 is when I discovered him, and probably by 2014, Yeah, that's 10 years. 10 years, friends. So I have to celebrate that love. I have to celebrate that love and devotion with the trip to Maine, with amazing constant readers all around. I'm so excited to hang out, talk with you guys, learn things, experience Bangor together. I could not ask for a more incredible opportunity. A fan event where the energy is just going to be electric and we're going to soak up and soak in to all of the King magic and all of the love, light, and greatness he has brought to all of our lives with his writing over these 5 decades. Can you believe it? And I hope to make more friends and connect and build this magical community I'm so privileged to be a part of. So that is what's coming up. I will be podcasting on the road to Maine. So you should see a couple of those around mid-June. The audio might not be stellar. I will be most likely in my hotel room or a hotel office somewhere. Perhaps I might have to go to the University of Maine library. Is it the Fogler Library? Don't know. Maybe they have a private study room. That would be amazing. That might have to be something I try to do, is just get my backpack, my laptop, my microphone, and try and do that. But if it's like, that's going to be tricky though. If I'm recording, I don't want to, if it's not, the sound, I'm loud, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know this. I am animated. I am kooky. I do not want to bother students if they're actually in the library trying to learn and not be distracted. Maybe the Fogler Library might not be the best bet. We'll find a place. It's going to be a little clunky, but you guys have experienced that with all of my initial episodes. Oh, they're so bad. Oh, they're fine. They're fine. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be self-deprecating. They're fine. We've grown. If you enjoyed them, that's all that matters. I'm happy that you explored those early episodes. Very, very kind of you. All creators are very, very self-conscious of their beginnings. It makes sense. Okay. So yes, as you guys can see, this is completely unscripted, all over the place, so much emotion, reflection, lots of stuff buzzing around my brain. It's a lot of energy coming out. So before we get too boring and redundant, we're going to head on out. But before I go, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for the past 4 years. If you are new to the show, welcome. I really hope you stay. I hope you hang out with the Patreon and have some fun there. And please write into the show or on any of the socials and say hello. Tell me about your love of King. And no matter what, if you are going to Maine for the Kingslingers fan event, let me know so I can meet up with you so we can hang out. I definitely want to make friends. I'm very social. I'm very friendly. I'm very bubbly. I am a teacher. I want to be your friend. And I hope you want to be my friend. So if that is something that is possible, and I don't scare you away with being very forward and in your face, then please let me know if you're going to be in Maine too, because how fun is that? I'm really excited, guys. I'm a little late on buying my plane tickets because I try not to make large purchases during Mercury retrograde. Saying that sentence, I know, is ridiculous, and it's probably a lot of folks eye-rolling right now. It's fine. I get it. It's just a little superstitious that has benefited my life. Can't explain it. Zero logic to it. It's just something I do. Ergo, I'm a little late on buying my plane tickets, but as soon as we're out, I'm gonna get them. Signed, sealed, delivered. I am going to Maine by hook or by crook, by hell or high water. Gonna be there, and I'm so excited to see you guys. Very excited to see Matt and Scott as well. I know they're gonna be rather busy and rather inundated with fans and people talking to them, but I'm definitely gonna barrel roll in there for a minute to make sure I give them hugs because they're the best in the West. You guys know this. Okay, I am rambling. I feel it. It's a full-on ramble. Thank you all so very much. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world that you're here, spending some time with me and this little show that has a lot of sparkle and personality and a lot of passion for Stephen King's writing. Wherever you are in the world, take care, stay in touch, reach out, and I will talk to you very soon. here on the Year of Underrated Stephen King, as well as the Patreon, the Danse Macabre with Kim C. Take care and bye-bye.